after being reborn in the 1990s. The very first thing I did was tell my boys to stop messing around in the streets and start living honest lives. In my previous life, I did every dirty deed imaginable for the woman I loved. Katerina. In the end, she used me as a stepping stone and kicked me aside without a second thought. The day before I was executed, Katerina showed up in front of me, clinging to her new pretty boy, Jack. You were just my loyal simp. Did you really think I could ever love someone like you? Right before my death, I remembered how all my brothers died one by one in the streets because of me. This time around, I swore to protect them. I won't let the same tragedy repeat itself. I'll lead them to a better life, one filled with real wealth and dignity. When I opened my eyes, I found myself back in the 90s. A chunky mobile phone was ringing like crazy beside me. Katerina's name lit up on the caller ID. Jack, send me 5,000 right now, or I'm breaking up with you. Katerina was my girlfriend in that past life. I fell for her at first sight and acted like a total simp, doing everything she said. I even sold my blood at underground clinics just to give her money for daily expenses, but she never appreciated it. Not only did she cheat on me behind my back, she also got my brothers killed indirectly. Did you hear me? I said send me the money now. Go to hell. You had the nerve to cheat on me and still ask for money? Why don't you just drop dead already? I suggest you return every cent I ever gave you within a week, or you'll be hearing from my lawyer. Before she could respond, I hung up. Furious, but finally relieved. It felt amazing to unleash the anger I had held back all through my last life. Chapter 1. After I hung up the phone, Peanut, Little Joe, and Big D all stared at me in disbelief. Boss, that's the first time we've ever seen you talk to sis. Law like that. You sure you didn't take the wrong meds? What do you mean he took the wrong meds? You saw the crap that woman pulled, always asking our boss for money like he's her personal ATM. She's got no shame. In my last life, I risked everything for what I thought was love, breaking the law more times than I could count. In the end, my brothers paid the price. Some died, others were crippled, all because of me. This time, I'm not letting the same tragedy repeat itself. Little Joe, I said, go through the records of all the money I gave Katerina. Give her 10 days to pay it back. If she doesn't, send everything to the lawyer. Boss, you serious about this? What, you think I'm joking? Of course not. You're the man, boss. I thought for a second and added, another thing. From now on, no more collecting protection fees. No more fighting in the streets. Anyone who can't stick to that isn't my brother anymore. If we don't collect protection money, how are we going to make a living? The 1990s were the peak of economic boom. If you were smart and worked hard, there was money to be made everywhere. I pulled out every bit of savings I had and dumped it on the table. From now on, we make an honest living. No more shady business, no more risking jail time. The guys were stunned to see me lay everything out like that. In my past life, I was notoriously stingy with them, always hoarding cash for Katerina. I'd never been this generous before. Boss, what about the fight we planned with Duncan's crew? We not going? Nope, but we already agreed to it. If we back out now, we'll lose face. When we've made real money and become real bosses, no one will dare disrespect us. That evening, Little Joe and I put together all the transfer records to Katerina that it totaled nearly 100,000. I told him to send everything to the lawyer, while I used my leftover cash to buy a load of cheap CDs. Then Peanut, Big D, and I took boxes of CDs to the entrance of the university. In no time, they were completely sold out in a single afternoon that we cleared 30,000 in pure profit. Boss, where'd you get the idea to sell CDs? This is way easier than collecting protection fees. Peanut was grinning as he counted the cash. I turned, and there they were. Duncan had his arm wrapped around Katerina's waist, strolling over with a gang of lackeys behind him. Jack, Katerina sneered, are you even a man? Who the hell asks a woman to pay him back? Duncan stepped forward too. You're unbelievable, Jack. Running away from a fight is bad enough, but now you're harassing a girl over money? You're a disgrace to all men. Duncan and I were never on good terms, and everyone on the streets knew Katerina was my girl. Him showing up with her now, he was clearly here to humiliate me. Katerina, I said coldly, everything you're wearing from head to toe, I paid for it. Hell, even the hotel room you two used was paid with my money. So why the hell shouldn't I ask for it back? Jack, I must have been blind to have ever dated garbage like you. If you've got the guts, just pay me back. Why all the whining? Jack, How dare you talk to me like that? I couldn't be bothered with either of them. Peanut had already pocketed the cash, and we were ready to leave, but Duncan and Katerina stuck to us like flies. Jack, Katerina said coldly, if you don't withdraw that legal threat, don't ever expect me to talk to you again. You really think I give a damn what you think? I picked up the empty box and slammed it into Katerina, knocking her to the ground. Duncan charged at me, grabbed my collar, ready to punch. Enough. Duncan, at the end of the day, aren't you just playing with what I left behind? What's there to be so arrogant about? His face darkened, and his guys looked ready to jump me. Sensing trouble, Peanut rushed over. Both sides were suddenly on the verge of a brawl. I clenched my fists. The old me would have already punched Duncan in the face, no hesitation. But I've changed. I want clean money, clean business. I don't want to fight anymore. Duncan, I know we've had issues, but I'm done with the street life. So there's no reason for you to come picking fights over this woman. You want her? Fine, take her. If she could cheat on me, she'll cheat on you too. A flicker of doubt crossed Duncan's face. Katerina, on the other hand, stepped up and slapped me hard across the face. Jack, if you're this pathetic, just change your name to Lapdog. That's all you're good for anyway. Lapdog? Ha ha ha. That name actually suits him. Duncan's men laughed. He's nothing but a useless piece of trash. Can't believe this guy used to act all tough on the streets. That slap set them all off. The mocking came one after another. Duncan was just getting warmed up, unloading every insult he could think of. Peanut couldn't take it anymore. Boss, just give the word. I'll bring people here right now and end these bastards. But I pushed Peanut behind me, stepping forward to shield him. Chapter 2. See, your big boss doesn't even dare fight. He's just a coward. Peanut turned to me with confusion in his eyes. Boss, they're walking all over us. You're really just going to take it? But I wasn't just taking it. I simply knew it wasn't worth the fight. Duncan, all this just to steal a woman from me? You can have her, a woman who's probably juggling 10 guys at once. Be my guest. Lapdog, Katerina spat. You're pathetic and useless, and now you've got the nerve to look down on others? I sneered and pointed at one of the guys behind Duncan. Why don't you ask him if he's ever slept with your girlfriend? In my last life, Duncan and I tore each other apart. He ended up in the morgue, and I landed in prison. Neither of us won. And all the while, Katerina had been fooling around with Duncan's own crew. I remember her saying with a smile, you and Duncan actually thought I liked either of you? I played you both so you'd destroy each other. It just so my real sweetheart could rise to the top. You only have yourselves to blame for being dumb and prideful. Look at you now. Your brothers are all dead because of you, Jack. You were just the loyal little dog I kept around. What a shame Duncan died too early. He never got to see how this all played out. But you? You were about to get shot anyway. So I figured I might as well tell you the truth. Duncan didn't die because of you, that he was killed by my one and only love. She laughed wildly. Even when I later tried to retract my confession, tried to tell the lawyer everything Katerina had said, no one believed me. To them, I was just a thug, a career criminal. In their eyes, I was just making up stories to dodge responsibility. With no evidence, they sentenced me to death. In truth, Katerina had never wanted me or Duncan. She got close to me just to stir the pot, so her real men could move up the ranks while we tore each other apart. The man I pointed at suddenly looked nervous. Katerina's face turned pale. Lapdog, stop slinging baseless accusations. You're just pathetic and trying to drag others down with you. But her voice was shaking. Duncan, I said, I can admit I got cheated on. But you? Not only did your girl cheat on you, she planned to take you down with your own men. You've been with them for years. Did you really never notice anything strange between the two? Duncan was starting to piece it together. His eyes flickered with doubt, scanning the guy behind him. Boss, I swear nothing happened between me and her. You've got to believe me. Duncan, think about it. All the fights we've had over the years, who actually benefited in the end? Who stood to gain the most from us going at each other? Now, Duncan's glare toward that guy grew colder and sharper. The truth was, this whole feud didn't need to happen, and it definitely wasn't worth it over a woman like that. Duncan, Peanut chuckled, looks like you've been cheated on too. Acting all tough in the streets, but turns out your own guy was banging your girl back home. You're lying. The guy stammered. There's nothing between me and Katerina. But in his panic, he blurted out her name. Tisk. Not even calling her sis. Law anymore. Sounds pretty sus to me. Duncan's brow furrowed deeper. Katerina suddenly lunged at me with another slap, but I dodged it easily. Jack, stop playing dirty. Just because you can't win fair and square, I'm not scared of you. Oh yeah? I glanced at her belly, then looked Duncan straight in the eyes. Did you know she's pregnant? Katerina had been hiding it well. She was slim, and you couldn't tell at all unless you were really looking. If I hadn't seen her heavily pregnant when she visited me in my past life, I wouldn't have known either. If it's not mine, then it has to be yours. Bullshit. I always use protection. No way that's mine. Well, if it's not yours, then it's her side guy's. Katerina turned ghost white, her whole body trembling. Duncan finally caught on and, without hesitation, kicked her square in the stomach. You filthy whore. You played me. The men behind him dropped to his knees, trembling. Boss, it wasn't my fault that she seduced me. I didn't stick around to watch Duncan clean up his mess. I walked away with my brothers. Once we'd put some distance between us, Peanut finally broke the silence. Man, I can't believe Katerina is that kind of woman. I always thought she gave me weird looks back when she was with Boss. Thought she had eye problems or something. Turns out she wasn't to me. Oh, knock it off. Little Joe smacked him on the head. If Boss hadn't stepped in today, we'd be knee-deep in another turf war. Yeah, Big D agreed. Duncan's probably too busy cleaning up his own house now to bother with us. I wasn't listening anymore. I quietly stepped aside. Big D walked up and placed a hand on my shoulder. Boss, you really are different now. Chapter 3. What's different about you today? Just feels different, you know. Boss was unusually calm today. Flexible, composed. Not like your usual self. I gave a half smile and patted Big D on the shoulder. Big D, what are your plans from here on out? What plans? Before he could answer, Peanut jumped in front of us. Boss, you talk like we're breaking up the crew or something. That's not what I mean. It's just this street life isn't sustainable. We settled things with Duncan today, but what about tomorrow? There'll always be new problems. We can't count on luck forever. Boss, say the word no matter what. I'm with you. In our past life, the reason we got into street stuff was simple, fast money. Big D and Little Joe both came from rough backgrounds. Big D lost both his parents young and lived with his grandma. He didn't go to school much and had no choice but to survive in the streets. Little Joe's story wasn't much better. His dad was a gambling addict who blew all their money and kicked him and his mom out. They had no way to survive but to hustle. Peanut had it slightly better. His family was decent, but after his parents had a second kid, they basically stopped caring about him. So he ran away and never looked back. I couldn't let my brothers keep risking their lives, licking blood off the edge of a knife. We needed another way. I've been thinking, if we don't do illegal stuff, what can we do? Boss, sounds like you've turned over a new leaf. But doesn't Little Joe's grandma still need surgery? If we don't hustle, how do we pay for that? If there's a will, there's a way. We'll find a way to make money. It's fine. I trust you, boss. Moments like that really hit me. No matter what, when I needed them most, they were always by my side. It was the 90s. China's economy was taking off. The world was wide open, and even civil servants were quitting their jobs to start businesses. We scraped together our savings to go after our first bucket of gold. Using what I remembered from my past life, I used all our capital to buy secondhand computer parts. We found someone to help us assemble full PCs. Back then, a finished computer sold for over $2,000, but all the parts together only cost a few hundred. The profit margin was insane. Within a month, everything we built had sold, and our capital more than quadrupled. We'd never seen that much money in our lives. Everyone was over the moon. I split the profits evenly. Each brother ended up with at least $100,000. But Little Joe didn't take his share. Instead, he placed the cash back on the table. Boss, what's next? I'm with you. Turns out making money is like smoking. Addictive. Big D took just enough for his grandma's surgery and put the rest on the table. I trust you. Peanut grinned and nodded. I'll follow you guys. I looked at the pile of cash and shared my idea. I want to set up a booth in the electronics mall. We'll sell computer accessories. This past month, I truly felt the tide of the times pushing people forward. In my last life, I could have seized this opportunity but wasted it, throwing away the best years of my youth. I was thinking the same thing, Peanut said, bouncing in excitement. He'd clearly developed a serious interest in computer assembly and networking. Once the store opens, you're the manager. Got it, boss. You can count on me. I'll run it like a champ. We didn't hesitate. The four of us decided to launch our own tech company. I registered the business under my name, but all three of them were shareholders. Little Joe and Big D searched for a good location. I focused on supply chains, and I enrolled Peanut in night school to study computer assembly and programming. And guess what? Once people leave traditional school, they actually take learning seriously. In just 2 weeks, Peanut had become the top student in his class. Once our store opened, 3 of them worked shifts running the place. For the first time, we had a real base of operations. One afternoon during lunch, Big D brought up Duncan. You hear the news? Duncan got arrested. I've been so busy I hadn't heard any street gossip. Don't get mad when you hear this. Just say it already. Don't beat around the bush. Katerina and that pretty boy of hers, it turns out they were really a thing. Not only that, they stole money from the gang. Duncan snapped, beat the guy half to death, and the cops locked him up. Not sure how long he'll be in. Damn, I sighed. You walk by the river long enough, your shoes will get wet. If I hadn't held back and taken revenge that day, maybe I'd be in the same spot now. Duncan got locked up. Peanut practically yelled. Can you not be so loud? No wonder his crew's been so quiet lately. Their boss is behind bars. Peanut suddenly looked thoughtful. Hey, what if we had fought them that day? Would we be in jail too? Big D and Little Joe both quietly set down their bowls and stared at me. Why are you all staring at me like that? Boss, sometimes I feel like you came back from the future. Like you just know everything that's gonna happen. Oh, knock it off. Just eat. From now on, we're only doing honest business. The 3 of them nodded, this time more firmly than ever. Our business turned out even more profitable than I expected. Soon we had a large pool of working capital. I used that money, along with my past life memories, to quietly buy stock in a few internet companies I knew would explode in the future, trying to fast track all of us toward real wealth. What I didn't expect was that word about my new fortune would reach Katerina. She stormed into our store with a whole group of thugs behind her. Jack, what kind of men are you? When things go south, you just turtle up and hide. The goons behind her were built like mountains. Chapter 4. I was the only one left watching the store. Everyone else had gone out to help install computers. Katerina, we're done. We've been done for a long time. How do you even have the nerve to show your face here? Jack, if it weren't for you, do you think I'd be living like this? I'm telling you right now that you owe me $10 million for emotional damages. If you don't pay up, I'll have them wreck your shop. Katerina glared at me, her belly visibly pregnant. A guy beside her stepped forward. Kid, I heard you were dating my sister. Well, now she's pregnant, and that baby's yours. Don't you think it's time you coughed up some cash? I finally understood. Katerina had rounded up another gang of street punks to pull a cheap extortion trick, using that belly of hers as leverage. I sneered. Wow, you really went all out. Can't find anyone to take responsibility for that baby, so now you're trying to pin it on me? Jack, if you don't pay us, we're not leaving. Damn right that we'll sit here all day and make sure no one dares buy from you again. A few college students had just walked in, but immediately turned and ran when they saw the gang of tattooed men in black. Scenes like this I'd seen plenty. Except I used to be the one causing trouble. Now I was on the receiving end. Karma's a real thing, Katerina. This won't work on me. I'm not falling for your threats. She waddled closer, belly forward, and leaned right into my face. If you don't pay me, I'm not leaving. I'll camp out right here. Let's see how you run your business then. Find out. Stick around for the police too, I said as I pulled out my phone. Before I could dial, Katerina suddenly collapsed to the ground, her white dress blooming red with blood. You pushed me. You killed me and my baby, you monster. The thugs behind her rushed over, one grabbing me by the throat. You're sick men that you really pushed a pregnant woman. I knew it was all a setup, but there was no point arguing. This was her crew. No one here would believe me. A big guy crouched beside Katerina, then stood up, face grim. Too late, the baby's gone. And unless you want to suffer the same fate, you'd better pay up. Most people would have pissed themselves right then, but I wasn't most people. She did that to herself. Fell on purpose. I'm not buying this crap. Another man hoisted me into the air by my collar. Don't pay, and we'll make sure you pay with your life for that kid. This is a country of law. If I'm paying with my life, then so are you. I'd already guessed their limits. They weren't really going to kill me. You really think I'm like that Duncan fool, don't you? The leader sneered. He flicked open a blade and let it fall in front of me with a metallic clang. Let me be clear. Every one of us has a body count. One more won't make a difference. My breath was getting thinner. His grip on my neck was tightening, but I still didn't back down. If I wanted to break free from the past, I had to let the law deal with scum like them. If I gave in now, I'd never be freed and I'd be haunted by these cockroaches forever. Just as it seemed like they were really going to snap my neck, Big D suddenly burst through the door. "What the hell are you guys doing?" The gang turned toward him. "Mind your own business unless you want to join him." But Big D didn't hesitate. He launched a flying kick straight into the guy choking me. The men grunted in pain and dropped me to the ground. Big D rushed over and dragged me aside. "Didn't expect to find this many people trying to die today." The gang didn't seem interested in Katerina anymore, even though she was still bleeding out on the floor. "Aren't you her brothers? Don't you care if she lives or dies?" I asked. "Who gives a damn about a woman like her? The only reason we brought her was to use that belly to get a payday. We don't even want to look at her." They kicked over the display shelves. Products crashed to the floor. Luckily, that's when the police arrived and took them all into custody. Security guards at the electronics mall might not be fighters, but they can call the cops. Big D and the gangsters were all taken to the police station, and Katerina was sent to the hospital. It was clear they had coordinated their stories, claiming they were just there to seek justice for Katerina. When Katerina woke up in the hospital and learned she'd lost the baby, she pinned everything on me, saying I pushed her and caused the miscarriage. The gangsters said they only threatened me to scare me, not to actually hurt me. So at most, it was a disturbance. But me? If I really pushed a pregnant woman and caused a miscarriage, I could end up in jail for years unless I paid compensation. That's when I pulled out my trump card, security footage from inside the shop. Unlike other stores that had just one security camera, I'd had 4 installed, covering every angle just in case something like this ever happened. Every second of their scam was caught on tape. With the footage, Katerina couldn't touch me again. Chapter 5. When Big D and I walked out of the police station, Peanut and Little Joe were already waiting for us at the entrance. "Bro, are you and Big D okay?" "Don't worry, we're fine. Good thing Boss was smart enough to plan ahead. Otherwise, that bitch Katerina would have dragged us all down with her." "How much damage did they do to the store?" "Not too much, but some of the stuff belonged to customers. Now that it's broken, it's a whole mess. And things blew up pretty bad this time. Shops around us started filing complaints, saying we're connected to gang activity. The electronics mall said they won't rent us a booth anymore." "What nonsense. We already turned over a new leaf. We're not in that life anymore. Let it go. Our business was doing so well, people were bound to get jealous. So what do we do now? Without the booth, where are we going to run our business?" "It's fine. I saw this coming. I already rented us an office space. From now on, we operate from there. None of the chaos from the mall." "An office? That must have cost a fortune. Can we even afford that?" "We can definitely afford it. Trust me, we've got money now. If Boss says so, we believe you." In truth, I didn't just rent an office. I started a software and game development company. It just so happened that this was Peanut's passion, so I handed all the RD over to him. Thanks to the boom of the internet age, I caught the first wave of explosive growth. Watching our account balance grow by tens of thousands every day, I was grinning in my sleep. With the company in Peanut's hands, I sent Big D and Little Joe across the country to scout for properties and storefronts. "Bro, why are we buying up so many places? It's not like we're opening stores everywhere. You'll understand eventually." Every day, Big D and Little Joe would send me pictures and listings of properties, and I'd decide based on my analysis whether to buy or not. But the biggest investment I ever made was buying up a block of old, rundown houses on the outskirts of northern Beijing. That one deal wiped out all our savings. "Boss, isn't this too risky? What if the government doesn't redevelop the area? What are we going to do with all this junk?" "Trust me, it'll happen." Sure enough, within a year, we got a notice for demolition. That rundown district shot up tenfold in value overnight, and the 4 of us became multi-millionaires. Over the next few years, our business skyrocketed to new heights. Katerina came back once, but this time, the arrogance was gone. She was thin, haggard, kneeling on the floor begging for my forgiveness. "Jack, I know I messed up. Please give me one more chance. I'll treat you right this time. You've lost your mind. Why would I ever take you back? But didn't you used to love me the most?" "Yeah, in a past life. I called security and had her thrown out. I made it clear she was never allowed into the building again. With no money and nowhere to go, Katerina started working petty scams again, running fake seduction stings with a few lowlifes. But she picked the wrong target this time. A serial killer. He murdered her and the entire scam crew. By the time New Year rolled around, we finally had a break. I gave everyone a long holiday. Big D bought plane tickets and took his grandma overseas for medical treatment. Little Joe bought a big house for his mom. His deadbeat dad tried to come crawling back once he heard Joe had money, but Joe kicked him out without a second thought. Peanut was living his best life. He finally got to strut back home and show off all his success to the parents who had ignored him for so long. As for me, I was an orphan. After middle school, I'd stepped into the streets. No one raised me. No one taught me right from wrong. Yet that's how I ended up on the wrong path in my past life. I thought I'd spend this new year alone, but to my surprise, Big D flew back from overseas, and Little Joe and Peanut showed up too. All of them gathered at my place to spend the holiday with me. Boss, none of this would have been possible without you. Yet if you hadn't led the way, we'd still be nothing but street punks. For real that you helped us flip fate on its head. I looked at the brothers in front of me and thought of everything that had happened in my last life. This time, I didn't let them down.